What is up guys, it is Simba here and welcome back to another League Racing video on the channel, and today it is round number 3 of the SLR season for the Australian Grand Prix, and on screen are the standings for the championship. We are just outside the top 10, but in the constructors we're quite a way down. So if you guys are looking forward to this video, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to the channel for some more League Racing content. We're so close to 200 subscribers and I'd really appreciate it if we can get there. As you can see, we're on our one and only lap here in Australia because we had some internet problems, me and Darren did, before the race. So I got in the session with like 10 minutes to go. So this is the one lap that you're going to see as we go through turn 3. We hooked that up quite nicely, and through turn 4, making sure we don't go over that yellow line on the exit. And it's been a pretty solid first sector considering it's our first lap, our first proper lap. We didn't do much practice for this either, so we're going into this quite blind as we do a 26.6 in the first sector. So a pretty solid start to the lap as we open DRS once again, the 4th new DRS zone around this track. And now you want to spot the left-hand curb. 6th gear, we take the inside curb, which is something you don't want to do. And the second part was quite safe. We don't want to invalidate this lap as we go through the final sector now, through this 90-degree right-hander. 3rd gear, we have to lift off mid-corner as we almost invalidate on the curb there, so we get away with it. But that is definitely going to cost us some time as we go flat through that right-hander. Now through the penultimate corner in 3rd gear, hooked that up quite nicely. Now it's just bearing the throttle through the last corner, which is done very nicely. And we're going to cross the line with 5.5 minutes to go with a 16.9, and that puts us into P4. And I was actually really surprised by it because I didn't expect us to be this high. But by the end of the session, we do get dropped down a little bit to P6. But I was actually really happy with P6 because we didn't do much practice, me and Darren. And we had internet problems that almost prevented us from getting into the whole lobby. So I will take P6, our best quality of the season. And we are slowly sorting out the weakness of qualifying compared to the last game. So we're going to get into the race. We're going to start on the hard tyre and we're going to go on to the mediums later on in the race. That is the strategy. Yeah, I wish we started on the mediums because it seems that the mediums will be a better race tyre. But here we go then. Readying up, telling everyone best of luck in the party, which is Darren, Roller and Jib Jab. And we've got 5 red lights here for Australia, and we are underway in Albert Park as Riggsy has a huge moment off the line, and that is going to give us P5. And we're just trying to look in the first corner. Snipes absolutely sends it in the first corner. We have a moment on the exit through turn 2, but we get away with it, and we're up into P5.
I'm not even surprised it's fucking a vote.
Oh, Evo, what the fuck?
Meanwhile, behind us, Evo on the softs has caused the horrendous dive bomb at turn 3 and at turn 5.
Oh my god. Oh my god,
what the fuck?
Huge contact between Sora, Ham and Corey, and we're up into P2 with a VSC deployed.
We're alive.
I don't want to use that battery just chasing someone who's quicker than me.
So you can hear Darren say, we're alive, and that is the main thing. And now on to lap 3. The pace isn't really there compared to SLR Corey up in front as we're into P2. We're going to let Midsy go. You can see us weaving a little bit, not wanting to use too much ERS early on as we let the McLaren go, as he is probably a lot quicker than us at this stage of the race. I didn't do much practice on the hards, so it would have made a bit more sense starting on the mediums, because with the practice I did, I actually started on the mediums. So we kind of shot ourselves in the foot there a little bit. But once again, you can see, just like Belgium in WR, we're struggling with ERS. My confidence in the race has taken a bit of a hit since that race in Belgium. And now you can see Evo on the soft. You can hear me very reluctant to let him go. Darren telling me to let him go there because he's on the soft. He's on the quicker tyre for now. I was reluctant to do it because it means Evo's not the quickest guy. He normally just dive bombs people because he feels like it. And I'm fearing that we're going to drop out to the top 2. So it's not ideal, but, you know, we carry on. On to lap 5.
I've won 2 warnings.
And you can hear my frustration as we get our second warning of the race. We got the first one on the opening lap. So we're going to have to do 24 laps of this track without a warning. But it means, you know, I'm probably more likely to make that mistake again. So we're probably going to get a penalty in this race sooner rather than later. On to lap 7 now. You're going to see what I'm talking about as we go through turn 1. And we just go over the white line, the yellow line actually. And we get a 3-second penalty. And you can hear me a bit annoyed and we're a bit frustrated, and now we're going to try and pass the Ferrari of Evo round the outside at turn 3. We get squeezed out a little bit, but he could do that. You know, we weren't alongside enough to make that move happen. But as you can see, we're just losing time to the top 2 now, and it is getting a little bit annoying. So the priority here is to just calm down a little bit and pass Evo and get back up to P3, because I don't want to sit behind this guy any longer. As we end the lap, he has a huge moment at the exit of the last corner. We don't have much ERS to work with. We were struggling with straight line speed because we're running a bit higher wings than everyone around us, as we actually figure out how to do turn 1, as Evo has another moment at the exit of turn 2, and now this is the opportunity we've been waiting for. Now this is the opportunity that we're going to try and take. We are definitely alongside him this time, going into turn 3, round the outside. He gives us a space, and then we go up the inside. We make a little bit of contact. He goes off the track, and he gets 6 seconds of penalties. But the main thing is, we are up into P3, and that is a move that we desperately needed to make. But there is a problem. We are now going to be a sitting duck down this straight. You can hear me getting frustrated in the background because I know what's coming. Evo's going to pass us. We make a bit of contact with the Ferrari. Snipes goes through, and going into the chicane, there is contact. We get tagged by the Aston Martin of SLR Jam, and we have to scurry across the gravel and the grass. And that is the last thing that we needed at this race.
So dumb. What gap is there, mate? Ah. This guy again.
And I am livid. I am livid. Because that has basically just ruined our race. I'm not sure if it was my fault or his fault, but I'm pretty sure that we were ahead. And he could have just backed out knowing that I had no ERS to work with. But that is ruined both of our races. He got damage as well. And we are going to have to reluctantly pit for a set of mediums to basically get to the end of the race, because I'm not predicting for a safety car arriving in this race, and we're going to be down to P13, which is pretty depressing. And Jam is already 2 seconds ahead of us because we got the worst of it. He managed to rejoin quite quickly when the incident happened. So very frustrating. Very frustrating. And now coming out of the pits, we're going to have a little bit of a close shave with the AlphaTauri of Riggsy as well. Thankfully, we don't make contact with him. But, yeah, pretty frustrating. And now we're going to have to make a comeback drive. And it starts by passing the AlphaTauri with DRS quite easily. We lock in the overtake by the time we get into the chicane. And that is us up into 13th place. So, we've got some work to do. And with the penalty, our race is not going to be any easier. So, that's already put a limit of where we can finish in this race. And we are a long, long way away from that leading train that we were a part of just a couple of laps ago. And now we've caught up to the Mercedes of Merckx on an old set of hard tyres. We're using these mediums well, as Jam is currently like 2 seconds ahead of us. So we need to try and maintain that gap as we pass Merckx. Up into P11 we go now, and we are just 1 place off the top 10. So we're making progress, but it's still not where we want to be at this stage of the race. And that is because we are now approaching the pit stop window. So with that incident, you can see a yellow flag there. I think Evo's gone for a spin. As soon as I say that, he took the softs quite away. You can see now we're right behind our teammate for this race, Jib Jab, and he lets us through quite nicely. Medal was in Wembley watching Arsenal win the Community Shield, so fair play. But as I was saying, we are approaching the pit stop phase now, and with that incident, we are a long way behind. So I don't think we're going to make too much progress, especially knowing that their tyres are going to be at least 6, 7, maybe even 8 laps fresher than ours. So as you can see, that's my point. As we can see now, Roller has just come out of the pits on an undercut attempt, and he is already 1.5 seconds ahead of him, ahead of us. I can't even speak. So yeah, that's not ideal, and we don't have much battery to work with either. So the pace on the mediums, it felt pretty decent, but you know, I wish we started on these tyres in the first place, as we had a bit more, as we would have a bit more confidence at the start of the race. So yeah, it's not going too well. And now lap 16, we're thinking about our strategy now.
Try to get to the end of the race.
You can try.
Evo took the softs quite far.
And there you go. That is basically the plan. We're going to try and just get these tyres to the end of the race.
Oh, that's another fucking warning. I hate it when I can't practice for these races, man. So annoying.
And meanwhile, you can see we get another warning for track limits. We're struggling with discipline in these races for some reason. I don't know what's going on. But yeah, I think that's our 5th warning of the race. So one more warning and it's 6 seconds. So Belgian flashbacks to WOR, and not in a good way. As we are ending lap 16 now. Corey has binned it. He was the race leader. So we've got safety car now.
Fortunately, the marshals have managed to clear it up in time, and there are so far no plans for a safety car. Okay, mate, we might need to look at a new race strategy after that. I've got some options for you, so
Very good timing, that. Can't complain.
I think I'm back in the race. I don't know if I am or not.
I mean, I'm kind of sad that it's brought the whole field together because it's kind of guaranteed points before then.
So, safety car deployed, and that means we're going to go on a fresh set of soft tyres that we saved in qualifying because we only did 2 runs, and that means we've saved a set of softs in the meantime. So, we're going to use that to our advantage and see how far we can get in the final few laps of the race. And this is going to help Darren as well because he stayed out one more lap when Corey crashed, so he's going to have 1 lap fresher tyres than everybody else.
But that is absolutely lovely.
Pit strategy complete. See these tyres through to the end now.
I'm never usually lucky with these safety cars, so I'll take that. True. If he dive bombs me, I'm jumping out of the way. I like to be alive, thank you.
So you can hear Darren saying that he's never really lucky with safety cars and he prefers being alive. Bear that in mind as we get this race underway. He's currently 4th on a fresh set of tyres, soft tyres, but his restart's awful. As you can see, we've already lost touch with the top 3. What a restart from Darren.
Bye-bye.
And there you go, he says bye-bye because we've lost so much time. And now that means, that is really inconvenient. That's really frustrating because, you know, it means it's limiting how much we can actually get out of this race now because we'll have a gap to chase. As you can see, Evo once again going for the send at turn 3. There's a bit of contact and you can see Darren just fends him off and Sora trying to find a gap, but there's no way through.
Oh, leave me alone, you dickhead.
You can hear Darren getting frustrated as it turns out his tyres were really cold. He didn't really warm them up properly during the safety car period. As you can see, Sora has a moment at turn 6, and we're going to try and take advantage of this, but we simply can't do it. We don't have the straight line speed.
No straight line speed on Sora, so I can't get him.
And there is the confirmation. We are struggling on straight line speed, and we're just burning ERS for no reason when we've been struggling to manage it in this race. But Sora has another moment out of the chicane, and now we're going to try running outside into the right-hander. Can we get it on the brakes?
Yeah, this fucking moron.
Oh no, man! Why am I always at the wrong place at the wrong time?
I mean, like, come on. I mean, seriously.
Okay, the incident's been cleared. Let's get back up to racing speed. Come on.
I mean, like, yeah, we're not allowed nice things, are we? So
Honestly,
too good to be true.
It's either you or me that gets shafted, and nothing more, nothing less. It's just ridiculous. No one knows how to race.
And just like that, it's all gone wrong on the restart. We could have been potentially P5 in this race, or maybe even P4, but we're back down to P10. We just send it on the inside of Wrigley and Jib Jab. We make sure we don't take him out through turn 4, and this moment here turns out to be the deciding moment of the race, because once again we are a long way away from the top 3 this time, thanks to Darren's awful restart and Evo's lack of racecraft. Honestly, this guy, I don't know. I think he's been called out enough for his dive bombing the opening laps. Like, there's no point trying to be a hero on lap 1 or a safety car restart because, you know, we still had 10 laps to go. You can see us now trying to make a move on the Ferrari, and we are once again ahead of him. We get it a bit scruffy, you know, we take the curb, but yeah, very frustrating. And Darren is completely out of the race.
Did you get damaged?
And we're about to find out something as well.
I feel like I got it. I don't really care at this fucking point, to be honest.
Mind that front wing. It's going to need replacing if it takes too much damage. Okay?
And there's the confirmation. We have damage, and this is why the title is what it is. The racing standards are absolutely horrendous. Most people just don't know how to race anymore, and it's been shown here. You know, it is really frustrating. And on to lap 27, we move ahead of a Vogue replay up into P8, and we're fighting Zydrad for P7, and he's got a 3-second penalty as well. So this is the position on the track, and now we get a really good run into turn 1. I didn't really want to make this move, but we're going to make it anyway up the inside. There's a bit of contact, and honestly, that's no one's fault. It's not Zydrad's fault. I wasn't really bothered by it at the time because it's the nature of the corner. It is tough to go side by side through there. So at this point, I'm actually counting my lucky stars that A, we don't have damage and no one got spun round, and B, we're still within a shot of getting at least P7 in this Grand Prix. So we're gonna skip to the final lap of this Australian Grand Prix. A very turbulent race for us, but we can still get some solid points out of it as we open DRS once again, and we are chasing down the Alfa Romeo of Zydrad. Going into turn 1 now, nice and easy. We do have damage, but it hasn't really hurt us too much. So we're still feeling pretty good on these soft tyres as he has a moment through turn 2, just like Evo did early in the Grand Prix. And this time we take the inside line, and that is us up into P7. He tries to switch back through turn 4, but we lock in the overtake, and that is us into the top 7 once again in this Grand Prix. And now we can try and get to the end of the race, but we know that defending this position is going to be pretty difficult, as just like on lap 8, we're going to be a bit of a sitting duck on this DRS straight, so we have to make sure we don't use too much battery because he gets a second bite of DRS at the end of the chicane. Here comes Zydrad now round the outside, going into the chicane. We make contact and we're in the wall again.
Well, it's only fitting that the race ended like that. Made contact with Zydrad and I hit the wall same way as before.
And just like that, that is race over. Honestly, I think I actually bottled that overtake. I think we should have really passed him. But it doesn't change the fact that this race has been an awful one. Snipes has won the race, and he was the championship leader going into this race. So he's extended his lead in the championship. And meanwhile for us, it's another case of what could have been. And it's going to be P8 here in Australia. And my reaction speaks for itself. This was awful for racing standards, and you can see the penalties on the left hand side along with the gaps at the end. This was a very messy race from the first lap to the last one, and we were simply just caught on the wrong end of things. The collision with Jam just didn't do us any favours, and that collision on lap 20 really ruined things. And I was worried about this in Bahrain, where the racing standards were really bad, and it seems like this is just a manifestation of these standards just getting even worse race by race. But guys, no luck again. It seems that, you know, we can't really catch a break in league racing at the moment. Just a few frustrating races, but I'm going to try and turn things around. There's still a long way to go in the season, so there's plenty of time and plenty of chances to get bigger results. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. Subscribe to the channel for more content, and until then, take care. I'll see you all in the next one.